Hello, this is the Reading on the Rocks podcast. We are Kelsey,
Chandler,
and Morgan. We like to drink and read books and then talk about them. Welcome to the group chat. Hello, welcome to Reading on the Rocks, episode 3. We are discussing, Hollow Heathens still. I'm Kelsey. This is Chandler and Morgan, and we are going to be talking about the last pages of Hollow Heathens this week. So last week, our reading was pretty much character development, world building. Not a lot happened, but a lot happened. And we left off with Fallon being abducted. Something happened to Benny because he was trying to save her, and she was buried alive as part of initiation to the Sea Coven, against her will, obviously, because she doesn't want to be in the Sea Coven. So that's where we are, and we are starting out on chapter 36 to the end today. So first up, what am I drinking? I am drinking a Sprite, an orange juice, and white rum, again, because it's delish.
I'm drinking a homemade ocean water and
Ooh.
vodka. And this might be my new favorite drink.
Nice.
Might be my go-to.
Yum.
It's delicious.
I think I was onto something with the sherbet vodka and orange juice yesterday. Or not yesterday, last episode. So we're doing a repeat mixer. And it's hitting just as well. So she might be a staple.
Nice.
We like a good staple. We're here for it.
So we found out some answers.
Did we though?
We found out some answers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's see. Let's go through it. There's a lot.
There's a lot.
Also somehow nothing.
Again, yes.
Same problem.
So poor Benny kicks the bucket. Let's address that first. I think.
Oh my gosh, so mad.
Heartbreaking.
I think that's the first time in that whole book that I actually felt something.
Yeah.
I think I wrote down, yes. I definitely empathize with her in this moment. Like, when she finds out and, like, how she's dealing with how she's going through her. She went through emotions. She felt things.
I know. Good.
She did. Sure. Good job, girl.
I wrote down, like, how I definitely empathized with her in this, like, in her emotions and how she was feeling with her loss of her grandpa.
I think it was just, I saw it coming when they put that bag over her head and she called for him. I'm like, oh shit, he's gonna fall down the stairs. And of course,
for sure,
yeah,
of course, that's what happened. And that whole, I can't remember. I should have highlighted it on my Kindle, but his last words were something like, "Don't take my girl," or "Don't take something."
Yeah. That was terrible.
Heartbreaking.
And then we get no closure on Benny because he does not come to Fallon in spirit form. We get nothing from him after that, which was just terrible.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like there was a lot of storylines were left kind of open-ended, and I don't know if I liked that. There was a lot of storylines that were like, this feels incomplete.
I'm with you.
Yes.
I wonder, it makes me think if we would see him again in further on in the series, but that wouldn't make a whole lot of sense considering it's not Fallon's point of view. And it was very abrupt, and I feel like she didn't really mourn either. Like, she was obviously very upset when it all took place, but it was kind of like a, oh, he's gone, let's move on thing.
Yeah.
I don't know, how would you feel about it?
Yeah, I definitely felt like like she had a mourning period. Obviously, like up
I
to
mean, she definitely
his
grieved for a couple days because, like, she's like, first day I cleaned the house. Second day I
yeah,
did this. I didn't leave
yeah,
this day. And it was
and
like
she
5 days later before she finally went to the morgue to see him and
yeah.
figure out the burial situation.
Yeah, she went and saw him and broke down there when she tried to get, like his spirit to come to her, but that didn't happen. So,
Yeah.
yeah, that was definitely a mourning time. And then his whole burial thing, which was like a cremation thing, definitely felt
Yeah.
like it. But then yeah, I find it feels like it just kind of drops off other than her being like, what do I do with this house now?
Yeah. But she definitely had like feelings regarding the whole situation. And those kept coming up like with Monday. Was part of the initiation. She was getting initiated too when they kidnapped her and her grandpa died. And she was like, Monday came to her house and she's like, I'm never going to forgive you for this. Like, it's never going to be okay.
Yeah.
And, but then she
But
just
then
hangs out with Monday like they're best fucking friends.
yeah,
So, I mean, that's a
they
choice.
get
But
drunk, have a sleepover, and then she gets over it.
alcohol, man.
Guess it works.
So we had a lot of open-ended theories that we kind of discussed, but like we
Yes.
didn't, nothing came of the dad. Nothing
Nope.
came
Nope.
of the
I
lighthouse.
had another theory about the
Nope.
dad too.
Let's hear it.
Um, I wrote down, I said, like, I feel like Casper, because Casper, she talks about Casper. Casper came into her life when she was trying to escape this town. And I was like, I feel like
Yeah.
Casper is someone, is the spirit of someone. It's like, it's got to be her mom or her dad. And I had that theory. I was like, maybe this Casper just seemed open-ended. Casper was like,
Yeah.
here.
Casper's another one. He
Casper
does
wasn't
like
nice.
he does take her to Freya's grave, and they have that
Yes.
little
Yeah.
interaction. But
She
you're
does
right.
have a conversation with her mom's spirit.
hmm Which is also very strange. It was kind of a weird
Her
situation.
mom was
Yeah.
like kind of telling her
Yeah,
not to
you're like,
be with Julian.
let the man die.
She was like, it's
Exactly.
okay, he can die.
But did you
I
catch?
know it kind of felt like it kind of felt like maybe Fallon's dad was the same way. He didn't choose her or something
Yeah,
cuz she was like bitter about it, and she's
Yeah.
like thinking I should have done this way
Oh
back
wait,
then to
we
Fallon's
have to go back
dad.
a little bit. Why is Julian on his deathbed? That might be a little
we
confusing
should.
for people.
We should maybe go through that.
We should probably go through. Well, I mean, this kind of brings us to the most ridiculous answer to the question of who wrote the last letter.
Oh
It's
my
someone that
God.
if you had only listened to us and not actually read this book, you would have no idea who we're talking about, because I had no idea
Yeah, left
who it
field.
was when she
She was
showed up on paper.
she was a reoccurring secondary character,
Like
but we
third,
all
like
thought like
not
third
even.
character, whatever. Like, but we all were like,
Yeah,
Didn't
she
okay,
see
came
it
out of
coming at all.
nowhere.
So it was Carrie, is it Carrie Driscoll? But she's actually oh, what's her
the
name?
wife of the fifth line,
Clarice, I think.
Danvers. I don't remember what
Yes.
her first name is. It begins with a C.
Clarice? Is it
Clarice, I
Clarice.
think.
Clarice?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Clarice Danvers,
she
which I
married the
did
original
remember.
Danvers.
Yeah, I did remember she is the one that they tried to summon with their sex magic, and she didn't show up. It was someone else who showed up.
She wasn't
So
a
then I was like,
spirit.
oh, that's why she doesn't show up,
That's
because
why
she
she
wasn't
didn't
a
come.
spirit.
Mhm.
So yeah, they show up in the woods, and she shows up, and she has been controlling Julian and his shadow magic. So she's been
And
killing
his
all these people.
ancestors.
Yes, and the people before him, killing all these people because she's trying to break the curse, and she knows how to break the curse, which is to kill the moon child, which, surprise, surprise, is Fallon.
Yep.
totally out of left field. I had no idea who it was. I was like, wait, who's Carrie again?
I know. Yeah, I'm like, I know I've read her name maybe a handful of times on the pages, but there's no background for her at all.
Yeah.
Completely left field. The only significant part she had was when she caught Fallon and Julian in the alley. Which would be like our only heads up as to what this character would later
I
do.
remember them maybe talking to her, because wasn't she like the girlfriend of someone, or was that someone else?
She was the girlfriend of one of the people Julian killed.
Oh,
yes, she was the girl.
Yes,
she was the girlfriend of Guy, like the first one he killed, the Guy.
Yes,
dude,
so she killed him. That's crazy.
Yeah,
wow. Okay,
that's
and
crazy.
Then, can we talk about how nobody's lived at the to leave the lighthouse because she fucking kills them all? Well, she has to kill the people who go to the lighthouse. No, her son is frozen.
But is she? I don't think she's killing him.
Someone's killing him, but it can't be her son because he's frozen.
But well, maybe I just completely blanked on this, but is the lighthouse island the Bone Island?
I think it is, yeah.
Okay.
From my interpretation.
Because that's where
Because she talked about going to the Bone Island, but I thought like there was other people there. So it didn't seem like it was the lighthouse island, but maybe it is.
Is he frozen though? Is that confirmed theory? Because the lighthouse still works. Is Stone running the lighthouse?
But she said at the time that he was frozen, and they were talking about it working before. So I don't know, unless he unfroze himself.
He just thawed out.
He just thawed out. I have no idea.
Some Captain America bullshit.
Yeah, it just got a little warm one day, and he thawed out.
Well, okay, so what we do know, there is a second book. It's called Bone Island or something, and it is about Adora and Stone, which is her son, who is frozen. So obviously he gets he gets thawed at some point.
And the fifth Steven line is still alive.
Yeah, and I mean, maybe I'm wrong, but it sounded like she froze him when he was like a kid.
Mm-hmm. No, he had to be an adult, early adulthood.
Really? See, it sounded like she froze him when he was a kid to me. Because then I'm like, well, when did he get thawed out?
Well, then him and Adora is inappropriate.
Yeah. So maybe he got thawed out before, because he's got to match age with Adora now. So I don't know. It's a very strange turn of events.
It really was.
Honestly, it was like so many storylines that were like barely touched on. I kind of had a hard time following.
Yes.
Yeah. No pregnancy.
No pregnancy.
What happened?
We did it, guys.
We beat teen pregnancy.
Way to go, Fallon.
Yeah. Good job, Fallon. Yeah, that was surprising. I was waiting for it to happen, because that was also part of the curse. Yeah.
Yeah. Can we talk about the party?
Let's do it. Talk about the party. What do you have to say?
So, we have to mention the party, because I feel like the party is very pivotal to breaking the curse.
Yes.
Okay.
So they have to go to this party, and Julian, of course, breaks up with Fallon again. And he's like, I can't see you anymore. I'm going to wait until after the party. So yeah, they have to go recover these 3 books of the original founders of the town. Yeah. His included. They have to recover Bellamy's, the Blackwell family book or whatever. And Fallon goes to the party because she can't wait till after. She shows up, and he's like, "What are you doing here?" And she's like, "Well, you told me the party." And she goes, "Yeah, I told you after." So they break into the Sacred Seas secret lair. That's kind of how I felt it was.
Mm-hmm.
The Sacred Seas Batcave. and steal the books.
Steal the books that are
And
not supposed to be there.
yes.
Important.
And then somehow Julian gets on death row pretty much for stealing the books that are not supposed to be there, that were stolen previously.
Right. So he gets caught, and then they send the other heathens after him at their little hideaway cabin. And so his own heathen brothers essentially beat the shit out of him and turn him into the order.
While he's naked, I feel like that needs to be noted. He is naked.
Poor man. Really hit him while he's down.
Yeah.
But
definitely did.
And they sentence him to the 7 days in the chambers and then to be burned by the Wicker Man. Hence the death row. And that's where it all really turns.
Yes.
Yep.
It definitely does. I feel like, and then Fallon's like, she's staying at Julian's cabin. Refuses to go home. Is in a major depression. Just major depression about this. And Jonah, her boss, who's also Julian's friend, shows up and he tries to talk her into like going to see Julian while he goes and gets the Blackwell book for Julian, wherever Julian hid it. And she's like, no, he's a bitch.
Yeah, that was weird.
I thought that was so funny. She's like, if he wants to see me, he has to break out of prison, basically, and come see me. I'm not going to see him. I'm not going to say goodbye.
Yeah, she's like,
this is so ridiculous.
She really does call him a bitch.
Yeah. Yes.
Specifically. Because he's being an extra bitch, is essentially what she said.
Yeah.
And so
honestly love it.
How does she finds out about the curse through Freya, her mom, who kind of spills the beans on, how to break alive, let him die. You have to maintain the bloodline and pass down the Moonchildness and stuff. And so obviously, in true Romeo and Juliet style, she takes it upon herself to end her own life.
Meanwhile, Julian is reading the Blackwell book before he goes to see the Wicker Man. And he gets to Bellamy's part and he figures out how to break the curse through Bellamy's little section in the book.
I have a theory on Bellamy's curse. I think, because they've touched on reincarnation a handful of times throughout the book. And then while Fallon is talking to Freya, she says something along the lines of, Fallon says to her mom, he loves me. And Freya says back to her, he always does, kind of thing. So I'm wondering if there's some reincarnation, if maybe they are like the original Bellamy and Ciri. But then my only hesitation is they discuss that, I don't know, I think it was like a pool or something that essentially holds Ciri's spirit and that it's going to wait for him forever. So I don't know. I don't know if it can be like two places at once or if I'm misinterpreting it, but I think there's some reincarnation going on there.
There's hints.
And then he says, Julian says that he really relates to Bellamy's story as he's reading.
Yes.
As he's reading the Blackwell book. So that's my hot take.
Yes, I like that. That's great.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
I like that.
And so Fallon decides, as we already discussed, Romeo and Juliet, she's going to kill herself.
Yes.
And she's like on a cliff, isn't she?
Yeah.
Yes, the same cliff she jumped off before, so. I survived last time. This time I'm definitely going to die, guys.
She only survived because Julian saved her.
That's true.
And he figured out that their hearts have to beat as one to break the curse, I guess. Isn't that what he says?
It's something along those lines. I don't know. It was a love conquers all kind of conversation.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, he breaks out of his cell with his superpowers, his screamy superpowers, and finds her on the cliff, and she still decides to jump off.
Yes, obviously. Don't want to
Naturally.
listen to anybody
Yeah,
in that
forget that.
case. No, just do it.
Just go for it. Just jump.
Yeah. And then he jumps in after her. And then, guess what, guys? Fallon does have magic. We finally discover
Fallon can do magic.
In the very last pages of the book.
she can do magic. She pushes Julian away under the water with her dying breath, forces him away from her so that she can die. But then she, of course, is unconscious, and then he goes after her anyway.
So she can die. Well, that is what it is. But
yeah.
Facts.
It's not wrong.
You're not wrong.
No.
Shoves herself down there. And then I think I was confused on how the curse got broken because I thought
Same.
that the reason it was broken was because she died underwater because he said he couldn't hear her heartbeat. And so there's the moon girl death. And then he brings her back essentially. But I don't know if it's love, then that works too.
Yeah. It sounded well, at least Julian thinks it was like it's like a dual sacrifice for each other. They love each other enough to sacrifice everything for each other.
Okay.
And he proved it, and then she proved it by trying to kill herself.
Okay, that makes a little more sense.
But basically, it's the love conquers all.
Yeah. Love that for them. Tell me about how you feel about Cain, because after that, so at the end of we're talking about it, Chandler. After the end of the Blackwell book, we get a little snippet of the next book. And we evidently all read it. And during that scene, it said from Adora as a 6-year-old child, and she's watching her mom have some kind of episode. And in the middle of it, Cain seems to have some kind of spooky, dark essence and power. And he just I feel like he really disappears from our Blackwell book.
Yes, that's I was like, his storyline is so open-ended, and that was one of the other open-ended storylines that I was like, I wish this was more wrapped up in a nice little bow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It reads a lot more like a series than I thought it would for having been labeled a standalone on all the platforms we watched. Because there were a lot of Cain's a very interesting character, and we got essentially nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like it kind of feels like a prequel almost to a whole bunch of different books that she's gonna
a whole nother
so far
series.
So far she only has this one and the Bone Island one, I think, out, but it feels like she left so many breadcrumb stories for every single story she's gonna do in the future that it just didn't feel like this one was whole. Because there's so many open-ended things that I'm sure end in a different book. There was just so many of them that it didn't read like a standalone one.
Yeah.
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 Did you guys, we like to touch on icks. Did you guys get any icks during that read?
I did. Oh man, oh man. First literally first chapter we got into, chapter 36. So Julian is talking about the sea, the sea covens, initiations, and the steps. The first one is burying them alive. And I think it was the second one or maybe the third one where he said they have a party and she basically has to sleep with everyone. He literally said they'd all pass her around and fuck her. I'm like, what are you talking about? What is happening?
There's a lot of sex magic in this book.
There is. It's a little strange. I mean, I haven't seen it before, so I guess I feel like there's a lot of like almost like shock value stuff that happens in this book because
Yeah,
it's like
for
But
so
sure.
different than
yeah,
norm, but it's like so out of left field that it doesn't fit in with everything else, I guess.
we did learn about why they have to have sex though. It's because like their magic is heightened after an orgasm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
until it's
That's
not though.
that is my ick.
Or yeah, or the torture, which we also got to see.
Yes.
Um they get tortured for fun, which also the whole story of them getting
Worst part.
tortured yeah, for fun. The whole story of them getting tortured so that their magic can be like their essence can be like released and then stored and then used to help a little 14-year-old girl who's sick. I feel like that like also just came out of left field. I was like, I feel like we should have known about this a while
Yeah.
ago. Like you guys
Hmm.
using your power to like help kids. I guess it's because they were supposed to be like spooky all this time, but then I mean they're the leaders of this coven. They just it doesn't read that way until you're halfway through this book.
Or further.
Or further.
We
Exactly.
we know, I mean, at the very beginning, we just know that they're covered in scars, essentially. And that's all we know about that story until we're in the thick of it and they're just having the shit beat out of them.
Yeah.
And I don't get it. And then we never heard, because I believe it was like Goody. That's the
Yeah.
dude. I don't know what the term is for him, but he's like using half of it. Because during that scene where
Yeah.
they helped Josephine, the bottle was only half full. And so that's like another
Yeah.
just open-ended.
It is. And Julian even remarked on it. He said something to Goody. He was like, don't think I don't notice this.
Yeah.
Like, I do notice what you're doing. So that, yeah, that's also like, what the hell is he doing with this
Right.
magic? That's
So it's
also
just
something we don't
a
learn.
whole other branch of story that I'm sure takes place elsewhere. But I wonder if
Yeah.
like maybe he's a secret bad guy because he gave shitty vibes pretty much throughout the whole book.
For
Yes.
sure
Yes,
he
he
is.
did. Yeah.
Yeah, he's just not my favorite thing.
Um, yeah, the whole remember when they're like breaking into the Sacred Seas, like coven or what Black Bat Cave, for lack of a better word. And Julian can't open the gate because his magic isn't strong enough, and he goes, "Okay, I need you to do something for me." He's like basically like, "I need you to give me a blowjob," and she's like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah.
That was
She's
your
like,
ick?
That was my ick. I was like, this,
You're like, oh,
no,
yeah.
I
no.
mean, warning, she doesn't do it, guys. They figure out a different
She
way,
does stay
apparently.
her ground.
She says no, and she stands by
Within
that.
she
yourself.
she does tell him to do it himself, which I
And
love Fallon
you
for
know what
that
is even
moment.
grosser than that, I think, is when she goes, well, what would you have done if I wasn't here? And he goes, I don't know, jerk off. That's gross. It's like, now's not the time.
Yep. For sure, for sure. This book definitely had some weird moments, guys.
Morgan, did you have an ick?
I'm trying to pull my notes because I can't think of anything right off the top of my head. But I had a lot of like eye roll moments
Yep.
that are just frustrating kind of things. Like I really wish that she wasn't such a, I don't know, I'm really into the feminine rage trope. And so I just kind of wish she was like a
Yeah.
little more gritty. Like I really was hoping that when she was buried in the ground, that she would emerge on her own and like pretty much like spite everyone for all the shitty things she's done. And she was like saved by Julian, which is like, okay, like very love story of you. But I don't know, like have some grit, sis.
Yeah. Yeah. It definitely felt like a moment where maybe her power should have come into play or she should have done something. Yeah, and then the first part that we read
I
was
agree.
all in Julian's POV for that whole section of him rescuing her. So we didn't even really get her perspective when she's buried alive and what she was going through. And it was like multiple hours before he got to her, and we didn't see any of that. And I kind of wish, she could have just busted out on her own.
Yeah.
Just
I think
fuck came up.
Yeah, I know. I'm like, girl, you got some fire in you. I know you do. But her crying on the floor also for like a whole 24 hours right after Julian's taken, that was kind of annoying to me. But it might be, I don't know, it might be a me thing because I'm such a feminine rage girl.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it just like kind of turned with her character. Like I was questioning her decisions at the beginning, but I was like almost on board. But then she just kept doing it. And then at some point, it just turns and you just start hating instead of rooting.
Yeah. Yeah. Did you guys have did you pull any favorite quotes? Let's do that one. Let's talk about it.
I did. I pulled another
I do have a favorite quote.
Beautifully tragic quote.
Mine was in chapter 42. I was both the creator and the monster in the story. The creator who shut himself out of the world due to his tortured mind, and the monster who never deserved a name.
Ooh, very ominous.
Yep.
Mine was chapter 41. He said, it was a Julian's point of view, and he said earlier in the paragraph, do not fall in love with the moon, they said. And then later on he says, they said you can't know the moon, touch it, kiss it, make love to it. You could only watch it from the dark trenches of the earth, admire it from afar. Yet still I fell in love with the moon, and she too fell in love with me. And I think that's pretty.
Yeah,
so,
I agree. I think I
really enjoy the idea of her. I like the representation of her as the moon a lot. I think that's fun.
Yeah.
And she kind of embodies the spirit of it.
Yeah. I kind of actually wish we learned more about that. Like she's a moon child, but I feel like we got
So where's her bloodline?
Yeah. We got no more information than that. And I feel like maybe it would have came with like her magic, but we didn't learn that she had magic until the very end. So I'm like, does she pop up in other books? Now I question, but I don't know.
I wonder if she does, because the whole pregnancy thing is left so open. I'm like, there's got to be another branch off of the storyline, wouldn't you think? Because it seems so obvious.
Yeah.
Yep.
Chandler, do you have anything? Favorite quote?
I feel like with this book I'm sticking with the beautifully tragic and heartbreaking quotes that are really just sticking out to me. But mine is from chapter 38, and it's not until after you die when people start to listen. And I was like,
ooh,
shit,
that's a good
okay.
one. Do you remember
that
what
one just like
that was? Was that after
gosh.
It was Benny,
it was definitely after Benny.
It was the newspaper boy actually took the newspaper to his door.
Oh, that's right.
That's what it was.
Oh. Yeah. Tugging my heartstrings right now. I forgot about that part.
Poor little Benny.
He finally makes the newspaper to his front door.
Yep.
So sad.
Poor Benny. Eek. Should we do like each of our ratings?
Yeah.
Yes.
It's not gonna be. How about Chandler go first? Start with.
I gave it a 3 out of 5. I felt like there was a lot of intrigue and the writing was amazing, and I love that. I just wish there was more character development and like world building. But I still feel like I'm a little bit confused within the world, and I feel like because Fallon was just getting to learn the world, we should have been able to learn the world at the same time with her. And that was really hard for me to get behind because I still feel like I'm a little bit confused about the magic system in the world and how everything works. But
Yeah.
I'm doing a 3 out of 5.
Go ahead,
Morgan?
Carol. My rating, I don't know, I'm a pretty tough rater. I think I would go 2.75, maybe. It was the writing I absolutely adored. And there's some, like I said in I think the last episode, some of it reads like poetry, like it's just gorgeous. But I'm with you, Chan. I think I wish the characters were a little more developed, and I just don't find Fallon very enjoyable or relatable. And she was a big contributor, and I find Julian like kind of cringe. So
Yeah.
That's where I'm at. What about you, Kels?
I am right on par with you. I was going to say 2.75 as well. I actually wish that I could read more of Bellamy and Ciri's story because I thought it was beautiful every time they had a chapter or flashback or anything. I wish I had more of that, but there was just too many storylines, too many threads that weren't ended, especially for a book that's supposed to be a standalone. I know it has more, but yeah, I couldn't get too much going on for that. And yeah, Fallon, I never got behind her as a character. So that's where I'm at.
I feel like Bellamy and Ciri would be a very good like novella prequel to the whole series.
Ooh, yeah. Like a little 200 pager.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I'd love it.
We'd eat that up.
For sure.
Do we have anything else that we want to say on Hollow Heathens?
I think that's it. I think that's all we've got for Hollow.
All right, we're finishing off our first book. This is the last episode of Hollow Heathens. Woo! Our next episode is going to be on the book The Undertaking of Heart and Mercy by Megan Banning. We are going to, Kelsey's got it right there. We're going to read chapters 1 through 20 and talk about it. Thank you for listening. See you next time.
Bye. Thank you so much for listening to our podcast.
If you liked our ramblings, please tune in next week and follow us on social media.
Book recs and drink recs are always welcome. Until next time.